Hey, we are back. We are live again talking about the Girl Get Up and Move. You Are Enough Anthology. This book dropped on Amazon today, the virtual book. And so we want to just come on. We've been here all day trying to let people know that they need to walk in their enoughness and what God has called them to do. And so, right here, right now, I am so blessed and so grateful to have the amazing confidence coach, okay? Miss Amber Nicole joining the stage. She is amazing. She is full of confidence. She is full of clarity. She is like all that and then some. And so I am so privileged to interview her today as we continue to talk about being enough. So we will not start without introducing ourselves. So, Amber, tell the people who you are.
Hello, beautiful people. As Renette just said, I am Coach Amber Nicole, confidence coach, of course, and I'm just here to empower, teach women how to obviously know that they are enough and to have confidence and to have the courage to walk in their authenticity, because it takes courage to walk in that. It takes courage to stand up, to fight for yourself, to know that you are enough, to know that you are worthy. And on a lot of times, it takes you being coached and someone teaching you and someone telling you, because sometimes, we don't know. So it takes books like this that you read and say, oh, wow, man, maybe I am enough. And so I connect with women like Renette and just get you guys together and help you guys learn that you are the best, that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and that you do matter. And I'm here just to empower you. And each and every day is my devotion to teach and show women that they are valuable and that you are enough.
Yes. And I am Renette Upson-Bush, the CEO and founder of the Next Level Nation and Next Level Chicks, also the compiler of this book, Girl Get Up and Move. You Are Enough. I am a speaker. I am I'm about to say a confidence coach. I'm a visibility coach, a success coach, and I do all of what I do through speaking, through facilitating workshops, through coaching, and anything I can do to help people. And I do it through books. So I'm just excited because I know that you are here for a purpose and you have destiny, and I help you get in alignment for your God given assignment. So that is what I do. That is what Amber does. And we're going to have a conversation about making sure that you're being enough. And much of being enough is being confident in who you are. And so where Amber was and where she is now, I mean, I can just say kudos. Life started out rough, life started out rocky, but just like the boys, the three Hebrew boys in the Bible, they went through the fire, they went through the smoke. They didn't look like it. Amber don't look like nothing that she has been through. She has defied all the odds. She has changed her narrative. She has made a difference. She is now the example, the message, and the story that no matter what you go through, that you can be enough. And so, Amber, I would love for you to share your story at this point so they can see the baddie that you are.
Ooh, we, of course. I love being able to share my story first off because number one, it teaches women that they not to be shameful and guilty about what you've gone through. When I start talking about and you start hearing like, wow, she's been through that, it's like, yes, sis, I've been through that. So let me just go back to when I was younger. The first thing, one of the things that really defined my life, I would say, is being a 11-year-old little girl. Number one, being with a mother who was a gambling addict at the time and not having a father in the home. So she was a single parent that was raising me and my little brother and my little sister at the time. And so it was rough for her. And so I was a lot of the parents per se, taking the role that she took, as a lot of kids in the Black community have done in our homes. And so I had to deal with that as well. Also being in that home, I found myself being about by myself a lot, and she had guy friends that came over and they literally were friends that came over. Well, what happened is that one of these friends that she trusted, that she said, can you watch the kids, make sure they ate, make sure they're good. I was 11 years old at the time, and he was doing that, for the most part, and as a pretty little girl, I guess people would say I was, and mature for my age is what I was always told. is that this guy, he started touching me in places and doing things to me that should not have happened, and at the time I didn't know. I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know what it really was because I didn't have a parent to sit down and say, hey, if this happens to you, if you're touched in this way, if someone violates you in this way, then come tell me, come say something to me. So because I didn't have that, I didn't have the guidance and the teaching, I kept it to myself and I kept it a secret, and I felt bad and I thought I was doing something wrong and that I wasn't stopping him because I was scared to do that. Out of that devastation, also I became pregnant at 11 years old. So imagine having to go through the torment of being a sixth grader. Sixth grade, that's elementary school. It was in Illinois, at least, at 11 years old and pregnant with your first child, like the scariness and the shame and the guilt that I felt at that time, like, why did I let this happen? Why didn't I stop him? Why, and then also being in a city where it was divided, at that time I had a lot of people saying, oh, or she's a hoe and she let this happen at 11 years old, with a grown 20 something year old man, and there was people saying things like that. And on the other hand, there was people, that was on my side and that was saying, this should never have happened to her. So I had a lot of conflicted feelings and emotions at that time. Um, Fast forward after all that happened, I had my daughter, she's still in my life today, by the way, for those of you guys, I'll let you guys know that later. But fast forward, me being in that shame and that guilt, that low confidence, I'm not worthy, I don't matter. Why would someone, because I was a good kid, why would someone take advantage of me in that way? Why did my mom leave me in the hands of a man that she thought she could trust, obviously at the time, and I wasn't saying anything for her to think otherwise, right? And so I had this feeling growing up into adulthood because I didn't get the therapy at the time, right? I didn't get the coaching at the time. I wasn't reading books. I wasn't doing anything. I was really just suppressing it. And because time had went on, I was acting like, oh, it just doesn't matter anymore. I'm over it. I'm done. Yes, I have the daughter and I'm still taking care of her. At the same time, I'm getting into these relationships where I'm dealing with men who treat me the exact way I felt about myself. Like I'm not valuable, I'm not enough, I don't matter. But what they were really a reflection of what I thought about myself, anyways, because I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't valuable. I didn't have the confidence. So going through, being pregnant as a child, not getting the healing, not getting the therapy, not waking myself up and walking and, had and surrounding myself in an environment around women or, whatever I could have done as an adult. Because when you're a child, you have no choice. But once I became an adult, it was my choice to be around the friends that I had. It was my choice not to get the healing. It was my choice not to get the help. And as I, reflected, I realized it was a lot of it also had to do with I just didn't know. And what you don't know, you just don't know. And so when you get around people and they start teaching you these things and you start getting better about that. So fast forward to obviously now today, no one would look at me and say, wow, she had her first child at 11, at 12. I had her at 12. I was pregnant at 11. I had her at 12. While she was in an abusive relationship. I didn't say that. He was abusive, very abusive. For 10 years, I dealt with abuse. I dealt with torment. I dealt with a man who made me feel like I wasn't worthy. I didn't matter. And he had no problem with reminding me of that daily. And I dealt with it because I felt that anyway. So he wasn't telling me nothing that I didn't resonate with anyways. And then now to today, being able to teach and coach women who have dealt with some of the things I've dealt with, the shame and the guilt of going through life. And sometimes maybe it's not always as a child. Sometimes you may have made bad decisions as a young adult. Maybe you were a little promiscuous. Maybe you had a child as a teenager. I ended up having my second son at 17. So you make mistakes, and instead of you owning those mistakes, and instead of us saying that, those are experiences, but those experiences are not me. They not who I am. We sit and we feel like, well, I'm not enough. I don't matter. This happened to me. I had a child at 11. No man's gonna love me and treat me like the queen that I am, right? Is there anything you want to chime in on?
I mean, I'm just like, wow, for you to still be standing up and doing the things that you're doing and to come through that at, such an early age, and then to sit in it for so long, for like you said, 10 years. And they're constantly, they already got you pregnant, now you got a baby, you're taking care of the brother, the sister, the baby, and now you're dealing with this awful man. And so I know that had to take a lot. And so you just deserve so many kudos for living the life that you're living, and to have stepped out of that, being a two-time teen parent, and still you are shining and showing up and knowing that you are enough. So how did you come to the space and place to figure out that, you know what, I'm worth more, I deserve more, this should not be happening? How did you move into that space?
Yeah, of course. I would like to say it was an act of God, because I had friends. My friends were always telling me, "Why are you dealing with that? Why are you being? You shouldn't deal with him. You shouldn't be with him. If I was you, I would do this." But it was like, you guys don't understand. You don't know him like I know him. All the excuses, they seen the bruises, they seen all of that. But it was always me trying to say he was better than what he really was. It literally was just me saying to myself, and I say God, saying enough is enough. Because when you're a child, like I said, you don't have the choice to be able to deal with the things that you deal with. But when you become an adult, I can't blame my mama for not being there for me no more, right? I can't blame the man for molesting me and having a child at an early age. I can't blame growing up in poverty and being a product of my environment for me not to show up and be the best version of me every single day, because that is victimization. And now I'm being a victim of the circumstances that I've gone through versus taking control of the life that I have and saying, I will not let my experiences define me. Those are the experiences, those are what I went through. However, I will learn and grow from them. And now, for me, teach other people, other women, how to be better and how to show up better, and realize that no matter what you go through, resiliency is needed in your life. You have to be able to roll with the punches. And I don't mean roll with the punches like just get over it and suppress it, because that's what I did. And that's how I ended up in the relationship for 10 years, just because I just suppressed it. But I mean being resilient, I mean accepting what you've gone through, getting the healing and the coaching that you need to process what happened in that moment. What was I going through? How am I going to deal with it moving forward? And how can I heal through it and let all the emotions out, the anger, the pain, the shame, the guilt, the frustration that I have from that situation, and then finally releasing it and letting go. God really came and sat with me and kept saying, like, you are more than this. You are more than this. Like, literally, when God comes after you, he come after you. And it's up to us whether we're going to listen, because I promise you, he always comes after you. He always tells you. You always have that intuition feeling in you. It's knowing that you deserve better, but it's still up to us, because he's a man of free will. He gives us free will. He doesn't force us to do anything. It was me finally saying to myself, I got to get my own self out of this. I deserve better. I am enough. I have to do this. And I went on a 6 year journey of re unlearning the things that I've learned with about myself and relearning new things about who I am as a person. That took me getting coaching. I still have coaches today. I have business coaches, I have mentors, I have therapy. It's really being able to get into an environment of people to help me get out of my own head, because that's really what it is. I'm in my own head about what I think about myself. I'm in my own head about who I am. And when I say I desire love and I desire relationship and I desire, money and all whatever else, these desires of my heart, am I ready and prepared to be able to receive those things, or am I just asking for them and not preparing myself properly for them? So that was one thing, because I'm like, I want to be married. I want to be married, and I want kingdom love. I don't just want a man. I don't just want anybody. I don't just want to settle for a human laying next to me, keeping me warm at night. No, I want some man that has ambition the way I do, that loves people the way I love people, that loves God the way I love God, that is healed and working on his own character the way I am, and the only way I'm going to be able to get that is if I become that, because I can't be asking for something that I'm not there yet. I want this man to come in and be amazing, but I'm still broken pieces, and I want him to work through all these broken pieces of me and try to put me back together. No, that's your job, sis. I had to do that on my own. I had to put my own self together so that when he walked into my life. And so when my man did walk into my life, I was ready. I wasn't looking for him. I was walking in purpose. I was serving, me and the Lord, me together was slaying whatever goals. And then Chris, came into my life. And he's I always say he's like a version of who I am. He serves people, he helps, he teaches, he's a mentor to young boys. Like I found like the male version of me almost, you know what I'm saying? But I would not have known he would be the person for me if I didn't know what my purpose was. If I
Absolutely.
didn't finally say enough is enough.
Absolutely. And so today, I want women to understand that as you're going through stuff, enough is enough. And if you could go through all that you've gone through and you can get up like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. You had a great fall from a child being 11 years old who was molested, raped, became pregnant, then got pregnant again, and still dealing with an abusive relationship. And for you to get yourself out of that, sit with yourself and really find yourself, that's just beyond amazing. That's a whole book within itself to deal with something like that. And then not only to deal with it, but to turn around and teach other women how to do the same thing, how to be confident in who they are. That is amazing. That is God's work and God's purpose. And I so admire you for doing that and showing people how to walk in their enoughness. If y'all have not understood that, oh my God, like if she can do it, why can't you? And all of us have something. We all have a story. We all have been through something, but it's the response to that something that makes the difference. And so for a long time, she was kind of numb, and she said, but then she decided, like, I'm not living like this anymore. I'm worth more. So what day will you decide that you're worth more and decide to walk in the more, walk in the enough? What happened to her, it happened to her, but it happened for her to share out. And so now she's sharing that purpose. She's sharing her story without embarrassment, without feeling like, oh my God, what are people going to think? You could tell Amber is confident in who she is. She doesn't care what they think, say, or feel. She is sharing her story, and she's so unapologetic about it. And even through all the hurt and pain, she's still kind, she's still wonderful, and she has not let that situation or circumstance define her. And so many people let the situations and circumstances that weren't even half of what she been through define them. And so we have to learn to stand and walk in our enoughness. And I just love that we have been able to connect and you shared your story. And every time I hear it, I'm just like still so amazed that you were able to walk through that, to get through that. I listen to your story and I'm like, whoa, oh my God, I don't know if I could have done it. But God, through God, all things are possible. And so, like I said, like those Hebrew boys, you came through the fire and you don't smell like smoke. You don't look like smoke. And God has done a new thing in your life and it looks great on you. The confidence. And Amber always says that confidence is a skill. And so that's the skill you got to work on, that confidence. So can you talk more about working on that skill before we go?
Of course, yes. Confidence is a skill because what I've learned is that a lot of times, unless you had parents that were intentionally pouring into you, teaching you, building you up, encouraging you, which a lot of us didn't have because they just didn't know, then that means we have to be the parents that we didn't have to ourselves. So it's a skill that you must learn to say to yourself, I am valuable, I am enough, I am worthy. But another thing I had to learn is that not just to be able to say it, but to believe it in my heart and in my mind. I had to believe I am worthy because I can say a bunch of words to myself, but if it doesn't resonate in my soul where I start believing those things, then it's just empty words that I'm just saying. So I have to believe in my heart. I am enough. I am worthy. I do deserve better. I deserve to get out of this. I deserve prosperity. I deserve kingdom love. I deserve to be able to not have to sit here and just let life happen to me. I deserve to be able to, like, you have to know that you deserve this thing. And another thing, like I said before, it takes courage. It's not easy to be able to say these things. A lot of times when people see me talk, they always make, some people may look at me or hear me talk and they may misinterpret my confidence as arrogance because I'll say I'm the bomb baby. Like can't nobody be me. I'm the best at what I do. Like that is not arrogance. That is me knowing that I am one and nobody else is like me. That is me knowing that God made me and no one else is Amber Nicole. Can nobody else do it like me? Don't nobody else got the secret sauce how I got it? They don't speak like me. They don't look like none of that. You cannot duplicate who I am. You have to know that. But this took me constantly pouring into myself, getting the coaching, getting the therapy, reading the books, and then believing that I deserve better. I am enough. It doesn't matter what I went through. It don't matter where I went, where my parents were. It don't matter what my family is. Everybody in my family can be a hot ass mess. But I refuse to be a mess like them. I refuse to go down the path they go to. Maybe I might be the only business owner. I will be the generational curse breaker that I will decide that this is where my legacy is going to be at. And it takes confidence and courage to say to yourself, I deserve better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to work diligently and intentionally making sure that I get better because it don't just happen. It don't just come to you. And it don't just come to you like that. It takes time. Like I said, I went on a journey of 6 years of discovering. Now, it didn't take me 6 years to get to where I am today, but it took me 6 years to be able to continue. It took consistency, me waking up every single day intentionally saying to myself, girl, you the bomb, you the best. And then not only that, making sure I was in an environment that did not trigger me in spaces to take me back to where I was from. Because so many times it would be friends that aren't doing the work on themselves and I am, and now you're taking me back to places where I've worked out of that already. And those friends got to go. Unfortunately, you got to let them go. You can love them at a distance, but when you're working on yourself, you have to be intentional about putting yourself in environments and around people that are helping you serve your purpose, that are pouring into you, that are teaching you, that are helping you to where you are going and not where you've been at. And that takes courage to walk away from people because we want to be people pleasers and we want to be nice and we don't want to let go. But if you're not at peace with yourself and in your mind, and you got all this craziness going on around you, it's very hard to continue to be confident when you got all these things going on. You got people talking crazy. So you have to be very intentional about your environment, the friendships you have, the relationships you're in, the jobs that you're at. Like you have to be very intentional about your life. It's really you choosing the life that you want and not letting life happen to you. It's you saying, this is my life. I choose and decide how I want it to run. Life isn't going to just happen to me. And when you're confident, you're able to do that. But you got to keep working on it.
Woo, honey, you done took us to church, baby. Woo! You done gave the Sunday sermon around this week. All right, Preacher Amber Nicole, Pastor Amber Nicole, you did that. Oh my God, do y'all understand what she said? Like, I'm gonna need to keep replaying that. Like, if you don't have confidence, you keep listening to this. I don't see why you wouldn't get it because she has said a word. She has put some things down and she is a generational curse breaker. She understands her power. She understands her worth. She understands that she has to walk in who she is. Nobody can do you like you. You heard what she said. So people could call that arrogant. They could call it stuck up. They could call it whatever they want. But she know who she is and she know who she is. And nobody gonna take her back there. And so she says she not gonna go in them spaces. If that friend's not trying to go and do better, deuces, she don't have time for them. And that's what you have to get rid of. You can't keep people pleasing. You can't keep holding on to people that's holding you back and then trying to let them make you feel bad and you think you better. And who do you think you are? Why you doing that? And you don't belong. That's what they try to tell you. But you know that God has called you to a bigger space and place. And so she just put that thing all the way down, baby. Mic drop. Mic drop. Okay. Girl, you put it down. Thank you so much. I mean, for just
Yes.
really coming, showing up, showing out, and dropping the mic on this thing. Girl, get up and move. You are enough. If you didn't know you was enough, whoa. How about you need to get to hearing what she said and playing it over and over and over. And like she said, she's still doing as confident as she sounds and is. She's still doing the work. Your work on yourself never ends. That's what people go wrong because they start doing it. They feel a little better and then you good. Then you going back dealing with the same old thing and the same old people. It's not going to be good like that. You're going to fall back in just like an alcoholic drinking alcohol and they start getting around people drinking again and then they start drinking again. They're going back. We don't want to go back. We only want to go forward. We don't want to look back. You don't drive looking like this, because if you do, you're going to crash. You're not going to move ahead. And that's why so many people stay stuck, because they want to look this way and go back to the past. The past is not where it's at, okay? We need to learn the lesson. And if it was a blessing, that's good. Receive it too. But we got to drive face forward. And so that's what Amber has done to change her life, to walk in her enoughness and her skill of confidence. She knows and understands that confidence is a skill, and she must walk in it. She must stay in it. She must live in it. She must bask in it in order to continue to move ahead. So she just said a thing. She has just ignited me and excited me. I've had a long day, but girl, you done gave me a whole new spark. Woo! Firecracker around this piece. So thank you for that. That is amazing. Any last words that you want to say? I thank you so much for just coming on. If y'all didn't get the book, y'all better get that book, because woo, 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 woo. This was
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. Like you, this is where it starts. It starts with you being able to read, books, and being able to see like, oh wow, I'm not the only one. Oh wow, people are going through. They are resilient. It starts with you being able to see, because a lot of times with us, we feel like, oh, I'm the only one, or I don't want to tell nobody what they're gonna think about me. When you start reading the books, when you get the book and you read it, you'll be able to see like, oh dang, she went through that. Wow, how did she? What the heck? You know what I mean? You start seeing like, this is what I went through. I'm not trying to play down your situation, but there's people that's went through far worse than what you've gone through, and you sitting in your stuff, and they done went through far worse, and they done got up and moved. You know what I mean? You got to get up and move and realize that you are enough. With where you are today, you are enough. Not doing nothing else, I'm enough. No more money in your bank account, you're enough. In the apartment you're in, you're enough. With no car on Uber, you're enough. Like you have to know that you're enough today,
Absolutely.
and then you move forward.
Absolutely. So y'all heard it from the queen of confidence, the confidence coach, Miss Amber Nicole. Don't sit up and wait till you get all the money or get the car or get the house or this. You are already enough to do what God has called you to do. You don't have to wait on anything. God has already given you dominion, authority, and permission to do the things that you were called to do. So stop making excuses and start executing on what he said you could do. Amber, thank you so much for dropping it like it's hot around this piece. Y'all, we're going to be back tonight at 8 o'clock for the launch party. We'd love for you to join us. We'd love for you to get the book. There will be some great prizes. Everybody gets a book. Your name will be going in the drawing for the prizes. So we cannot wait to see you tonight. And we're going to party hardy. We're going to do it good. We're going to do it right. We're going to have us a great time. So thank you again. You are so amazing and so exciting and just so such a leader. And I thank you so much for just, always your yes, because every time I call, you always say yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, I love it. I love being able to be on your platforms. We always just flow.
Yeah,
Before we know, like, dang, 30, where 30 minutes go?
I know I don't know what happened
We
to
just be flowing.
we already about into what we into, almost 30 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, because we flow, like you said. But people need to hear this. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you for always, being there. I appreciate you, and have a great rest of your evening.
Of course.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
See y'all later.